Hello, my darlings. Welcome back to Marion K Tarot. How are we? Oops, that was a bit violent there, wasn't it? Oopsie. How we doing? Welcome to this week's reading. If you're new here, or if you're not and you don't know, I am a tarot and astrology consultant from just outside of Glasgow in Scotland, and I've been reading tarot for close to 30 years. Oopsie, in fact that is 30 years now, possibly. So yeah, I usually say the mid-90s, but I'm now realising that's like 30 years ago. And the purpose of me putting myself on YouTube is basically just to do these wee weekly readings because I really enjoy them. Sometimes I do different videos, very rarely you will find the occasional review video. There's much better channels out there to do reviews, but I just sling myself on here, do a wee weekly reading, and yeah, I enjoy it, so that's why I'm here. So, I hope you're well. Now, if you know, we are continuing on with this annual thing that I started back in January, whereby I wrote a list of 52 tarot decks. I am ashamed to say that I own much more than 52 tarot decks. So that which this exercise pointed out to me. And then before I turn the camera on, every week I pull a card from this little jar. It's called the Reader, and it's like TBR. So I got it off of a bookish small business here in the UK, and I am gently going back into like reading novels, etc. But I thought, you know what a cool thing, it'd be like, well, TBR to be read, so I could make that as tarot decks, you know, because we read tarot obviously. So that's what I did, and I wrote a list of 52 decks, and every week I pull one out, and this week we have got the beautiful Fortuna deck, and it is the Emerald Anima. Now, this is very fitting because I have got all of Maria's decks, all of the Fortuna decks, but I think of practically everything Maria's ever made. I'm a super fan, but she's a friend. And I love the fact that it's the Emerald deck that's come out because we are very much in the heart of Taurus season. And yeah, it's like, well, this is like, in fact, this is the last full week of Taurus season. So yeah, so we're really like in the heart, coming towards the end of it, and you know, the time of excess and luxury. Can you tell I'm a Taurus? Oops. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull 3 cards, and we're going to see what energies we have got coming up for the 11th to the 17th of May. Now, let me see, just what we have got. So hope you well. Let me know in the comments what you've been up to this week. I am very excited. I have pretty much recovered for the Oracle's Rebellion. I am gearing up to go to the next big thing that I'm doing, which is the 4-day Mind, Body and Soul Festival in London. It's held at the Olympia in London, and I have got a booth there. Me and Terry are going to meet finally for the first time in person, and we're going to be taking the Grief Journey Oracle to London town, and we're going to be selling it there in person, and we'll have some prints from the deck as well. So yeah, we're just going to see what it's all about. So if anybody is in London, do feel free to pop along. That'd be lovely to see you. I might be a bit harassed because I'm doing the majority of the time, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be amazing. Right, so let's pull these cards. Enough of my waffling. Right, let's see what we got. Okay. Right. So the card at the bottom of the deck is the Seeker, which is the Fool card. Okay, so very, very interesting energy this week we're heading into. And I loved it how it's the Seeker in this deck, right? And And, you know, the Golden Dawn associated this card with Uranus. Opinions vary, you know, to each their own. You know, it's like the Golden Dawn said that. I read the Golden Dawn system, so, right, but if your opinions are different, if your thoughts are different, then by all means, you know, change it around. But what I like about it being the Seeker is the fact that the Fool tends to be this like kind of a, oh well, it's the beginning of a new journey. Oh well, that's great, right, fantastic. But for me, this card being changed to the Seeker is, it's like, yeah, there's a new journey and there's a new opportunity heading towards you, but you are seeking it out. Do you know what I mean? It's something that you're sought after. Do you know what I mean? It's like you are out there looking for it. It's not as like surprising. It could be surprising, you know, it could just come out of the blue, you know, you could be having a random conversation with somebody and, you know, it just gets something just gets in, it sparks something, you know, that with that kind of a electrical charge of Uranus, you know, that's there, and also the newness and the opportunities of the Fool or the Seeker. But it feels very much like you are seeking out adventure this week. And not maybe just this week, you know, maybe it's like you've been thinking about it for quite some time, and then all of a sudden it's like this is the week that happens. Remember, you know, we're in Taurus season, right? And Taurus is a sign, is it, you know, we build, I say we because I've just said I'm a Taurus, right, but we like to build things, right? So to give you an example, I was like, I remembered when I was in a relationship a few years ago, and my partner at the time said to me, oh, I've bought this, oh, I can't remember, it was like some kind of like electric mop thing or something, right? He was always buying crazy shit, right? And I was like, he's like, I bought it because I knew you would like it. And I looked at him like, excuse me, you bought an electric mop and you think I'm going to like it? And yeah, I'm ready to go on my feminist, who do you think you are, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no, no, no. He goes like, what I mean is, it needs assembled, it needs built up, it needs put together. And I was like, oh, right, okay. He goes, no, he goes, I'm no like that. I mean, there was many things, but he wasn't like that. Um, and I suddenly realised, I was like, oh, I goes, what did you, how did you know that about me? And he was like, because you love putting things together. He goes, he's like, you know, when you get excited about it, you know, you get excited when things have to get, whether like put together and built, you know, it goes, your eyes light up, you know, it's like, because like he was always getting things right, and like flat pack furniture, and I mean, with the best will in the world, he wasn't that way inclined, you know. He was very intellectual, but practical wise, you know, building things, etc. So like when he would bought them, I would get my tool you know, and I would build them and I would fix things, you know, like if his boiler was playing up or something, it didn't need like a plumber or like an engineer, you know, it just needed like more water in the pipes or something, you know, I would go and do that. So that, you know, it's a long way to say that when you're in Taurus season, you know, there is this feeling that we can build things, you know, we can build something up. So maybe there has been something building up in your mind, you know, and you've been maybe kind of writing wee plans, and you've been like maybe leaving yourself wee voice notes, etc., etc. And then this is the week that you finally have that catalyst and say, right, I've got all my materials, I've got everything in place, and I'm going to start putting this together. You know, and it's like a culmination this week of all these little things that you have been doing, and then up until this point, this is the time to do it. So the card proper that we have got the Four of Cups, we've got the Ten of Cups, and we have got the Princess of Candles. The Princess of Candles in this deck corresponds to the Page of Wands. Okay, so that, again, that initiatory energy. But what we need to look at here is these 2 cups cards, right? We've got the 4 and we've got the 10. Right, I'll put that behind there now, right? So, both you could argue are cards of completion, okay? Because the fours are very much, that stability. Traditionally, with the Waite-Smith energy and look at the card, I call it the Huff card, right? Because it's like there's these, the traditional meaning is these 3 cups, and then you can't see the one that's floating in the air. But the thing is, it's like with that Seeker or full energy at the bottom of the deck, it feels very much this week there is going to be. It's the moon in Cancer, right? The moon loves to be in Cancer. It rules the sign of Cancer, right? So it could may well be that there's something deeply emotional and deeply familiar coming up this week along with, but there's going to be a new perspective of it. Okay, it's like you have completed to do something. You've had this ambition, right? I'm just going to riff with this. So it feels like there's this ambition coming up, and you've realised that, your ambition, you've realised that goal, and now you're like, oh, what's next? So it's like, how do I get from the 4 to the 10? And it's like, and the 10's like about completion as well. So it's like, then we go to the initiatory energy. But the initiatory energy here is, this can be like this again, this is Mars and Pisces. Now, we had a lot of Mars and Pisces earlier on this year, because Mars just seemed like it was in Pisces forever. It wasn't, it went retrograde, right? But it's fine now. No, it's moved on, but that energy that shows up is that passion in with emotions. Okay, it's like Mars is very combative, so it's like, it's almost like that kind of a like fighting for love sort of thing. That comes up quite often for me when I see like Mars and Pisces, that kind of energy. But it's, it's like, right, so are you going to have to fight for what you've built this week? Right, what you've built and what you've completed, and then you've got this 10, and it's asking you to complete something else to go further this week. But it's that fighting for love, fighting for what you love. That feels really apt. You know how if you've been here for a while, right, you'll know that I'll suddenly say something and it'll be like, oh, that's what I was trying to get to. So it feels like you're fighting for love this week, or fighting for what or those that you love this week, okay? So how do we make that into the Princess of Candles or the Page of Wands? Well, it's that, again, that initiatory energy. It's youthful energy, but it's not youthful as an age, it's youthful as a new. Okay, so it's new energy that's coming up, and it's asking you to say, right, okay, this is new. What am I passionate about? How can I make this work for me? Right? How can you make it work for you? And what I really like about this energy is it's like, it's water and fire. Okay, the water and fire are really interesting together, right? Because if you think about it, it's like water can put fire out, but fire can also heat water up and turn it into steam, or it can make it hot, right? So it's that interesting. It's like all the elements, when they work together and individually, they are forces for positive things, they're forces for not so positive things, but it depends on your definition, because it's like, if you've got a fire and you're trying to cook something and the rain comes on and puts the fire out, then that's not a good thing. But if you are in a burning building and somebody puts the fire out with water, then that's a good thing. So it's about perspective, so it's not always as black and white as what you think. There's many shades of grey. I don't know why I've just picked up this pen. I've got no idea. I mean, it just seems that I can't even concentrate these days to do an entire tarot reading. However, that feels like the messages that's coming through for this week, okay? So what have we got in our Oracle deck? Let me see. Okay. Let's see. We have got Spiral. Okay, this is one of my this was quite a challenging card to write about. The word came really quickly to me. And it wasn't just because of the staircase, you know, it was just like the word when I was assigning like titles to the cards. This just came really naturally, but then when I got to writing it in the book, I was like, oh, there was so much to and fro, and I remember thinking to myself, but this week, it's like when we look at things that are new, if you're sitting there, you know, after hearing the tarot reading, think, oh, I know what that new thing is, I know what that thing is that I want to do. Guaranteed, there will come a point where you think to yourself, oh no, I can't do this, it's too much, and you'll start to spiral, right? Okay, in that sense of the word. But what I would offer you for this week is, expect the unexpected to happen, right? When you're spiraling, we're not always spiraling down the way, okay? It's an up and down thing. So you could be spiraling up, okay? So you're spiraling up this week and you're thinking, right, okay, I'm going to raise my attention up. Maybe it's something like you've been debating about your worth, okay, and what you are worth, and what your services, or what anything is to you, whatever it is to you, right? Your spiritual worth, your emotional worth, you know, that's a big thing for people. So it's like you decide what that is and then act accordingly. Okay, so it's like, remember, when we talk about spirals, it isn't always about down the way, it can be up the way as well, right? So hope that makes sense to you. Have a wonderful week. Whatever you get up to, enjoy the last full week of Taurus season. I know I certainly shall be. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye bye.